The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Earnestly Speaking podcast. I'm the host, Earnest. E. Curry coming to you. I believe September 9th, 2021. So here's the deal. We're going to wrap these shows up this year as this fall as football is coming back. So you guys know Zack Degenerate. He was on the podcast a couple weeks ago doing the AMC, NFC over-unders. He's been day one of the show since the day this show was born 10 years ago. And through the years, we've always done a weekly picks. Or him and I will pick our games. We'll go through the entire slate of games against the spread and make our picks, and then whoever has the most correct wins the week and all that. We didn't do that last year because of COVID and the scheduling was kind of off, and there's a lot of things that didn't work out in our favor. But now we're kind of at the normal. I mean, obviously we're still in the pandemic, but we have to be very careful with people not wearing a mask and not being vaccinated and all that. But that's all the story of another day. But anyway, the point is, we decided we're going to bring this back this year, and we're going to do this every week. For now, we're doing Thursdays. Most likely, though, we'll be doing this maybe on Tuesdays as well. Also early in the week, we'll see how that goes. But definitely once a week, we'll have Zack on the show. Zack the Degenerate, of course, because he is a gambling degenerate. And we'll be able to do this every week and do this. I know I keep saying do this all the time. I don't know why I'm doing that for anyway. But we're going to be doing the picks every week. So, and I think we're going to have a dinner bet. I'm going to propose a dinner bet on the episode, as you'll hear in a second. So again, subscribe to the podcast, Earnestly Podcast. We're going to be very busy. Wrapping up these episodes now. We're going to try to do these three a week. Between everything on with football, obviously life, pro wrestling, you name it. Basketball's coming back soon, independent baseball. So a lot going on, a lot to talk about. And I want you guys to be a part of this ride. We're 10 years in. I appreciate you guys subscribing to the podcast. Appreciate you guys' support. Follow me on Twitter, East7. Love you guys. Listen to the podcast. Enjoy. We're trying to build a family here. To be honest with you, we have built a family here, to be honest with you. I'd like to continue increasing building a family here and, hopefully do some more cool things on the way on the show. So without further ado, here is my man Zack for Picks of the Week. What's up, Zack?
What's happening?
Not much, man. So we're recording this on a Thursday night. We're probably going to start doing this really on Tuesday and start next week, just because of scheduling and whatnot. But, we're actually recording this as we are watching the Buccaneers-Cowboys game in the second quarter. By the way, that second Tom Brady drive, holy shit. He's 44. I think you're right. All these years we've been saying he'll play till he's 50 years old. And I was like, maybe not. You'll see. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening, dude. He's so fucking good still. Can't believe it.
Look, he'll turn 47, 48, and they'll be like, I guess we have to move from a passing offense to a rushing offense. We'll get a better offensive line.
What's kind of sick about Brady being this good still is that he's not only just good enough to play football, he's still a top 5 quarterback in the league, if you think about it.
He's elite because he doesn't turn the ball over.
Right.
To think this last season was the most interceptions he had thrown in probably a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it was also one of his best passing seasons.
Yeah.
The dude is incredible. He
is. Okay, so obviously, if you went to the podcast last 10 years, now we didn't do it last year because of COVID and scheduling and whatever, but most of those 10 years Zack and I always go back and forth with our picks. We compete against the spread. We don't always have the same thing. We debate it, whatever, and we obviously, the winner of that week will win the week and so forth and so forth. Now, you complained to me now on text today that I have not paid my bets back, that you beat me in years past. I got to take care of that, number one. But I do propose right now for this year. Now I'm asking for a clean slate because I still owe you for that. But I'm proposing that, this year we do a dinner bet. For this year, the winner will take whatever the lunch or dinner, wherever we want to go. Well, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it real this time, and we're gonna fucking make sure listeners of the podcast also involved in this too, especially and all that. So I don't know. If I win, I don't know. You take me to fucking Flanagan's?
Dude, don't ever knock a Flanagan.
I love Flanagan's. You kidding me?
Are you serious?
No, I love Flanagan's.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm saying.
good.
Take me to Flanagan's.
Okay.
I have like 10 cups in my fucking house, dude. Come on.
Man, I get a rack of ribs for the appetizer now.
I told Lauren.
That's how bad it is.
I told Lauren the other day, man. I want to go to Flanagan's again. I haven't gone in a long time. I'm dying to go. I miss my grilled black and fish. My grilled black and fish.
It's like Cheers for me, man. Nothing like when your bartender knows your shitty team.
So I guess we're gonna make Flanagan's the bet now. If we win, whenever takes the other person to Flanagan's,
Sure.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Okay, so as I said, we are doing this podcast right as we are in the middle of the Bucs Cowboys game. Now, just for reference sake, I had Cowboys +9 on this game. You had the Bucs covering at 9 points, right?
Today.
Right. Right now it's 7-7, second quarter. There was a lot of time left in the game. Obviously, next week when we do the podcast, we'll obviously address that when the time comes. But in the meantime, I looked at the slate of games, man. Honestly, this is an awesome week of football. Honestly, this based on narratives. Now we don't know how these teams are going to be when it's all said and done by the time we get to the winter. But look at some of these games on the schedule, like based on what we expect or what we're projected to be this year. There's some really good fucking games this weekend, man. There really is.
Oh, no doubt. The really sad thing is about the only state in the country that won't watch football this coming weekend is going to be New York. Otherwise, every matchup has something intriguing about it.
Wait, you don't think Buffalo and Pittsburgh is engaging? It's still part of New York.
I kind of consider it Canada at this point.
Dude, to be honest with you, Buffalo's more New York than my Giants and the Jets are, honestly. It was based on location.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure the Bills are going to be leaving soon.
You think he'll be out of Buffalo?
Hey, that owner wants 100% paid for stadium. Or he knows he can go to another city and get a whole brand new $2 billion stadium completely paid for by that city.
That owner will be Art Modell 2.0 if that happens. That Buffalo fan base is rabid. Rabid. You think they'll allow that shit? I don't know, man.
That's going to happen to a lot of teams soon.
I don't know, man. His idea, that's part of the podcast on the road. We'll discuss like these owners wanting to have the city foot the bill for this stuff. I don't know, man. I have mixed feelings about that kind of stuff, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I think cities should just outright start buying the teams.
Honestly, that won't
be
the worst.
If you're going to put a bill for $2 billion, just buy the team, and that way you actually make money off the deal.
I mean, it's actually a great investment. You invest that money and put it into the city itself. So these fucking owners like trying to hang your hang over a ledge. Pay me or do this or else I leave. You know what I mean? And I mean, certain cities. I'm sure certain cities will work for us. So other cities maybe not so much. But I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the picks.
Every city wants a football team, so
that's the thing.
You're screwed with the threat by the owner. I say whenever a team in a city comes up for sale, the city should buy it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
You're not leaving.
That's not a bad idea. And if you're gonna leave, you get like a large tax whoever buys the team out, whatever. Anyway, let's get the picks of the week. Like I said, intriguing week of football. I can't wait to get to it. This is week 1 of EJ versus the Degenerate. I can't wait. This will be fun this year. I can't wait. I'm glad we get back to this again. First game first, we have the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Atlanta to face the Falcons. The Falcons are right now 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 48.5. The Eagles, I think you and I have agreed that will be the worst team in the NFC East this year, as we did on Overrunners podcast a couple weeks back. The Falcons, of course, they're actually an interesting team. I don't think they'll playoff team, obviously, but they're pretty interesting now. You got drafted Kyle Pitts in the first round, the tight end who might be the next coming of Gronkowski, whatever. I hear people talk about the Eagles saying they might be better than we think. I mean, I don't see it. I mean, you got to prove it to me. I'm rooting for Jalen Hurts to do well this year, but you and I are in the same boat with the Eagles. We both hate them, so we're both NFC East guys. So I'm seeing Atlanta cover this game 3.5 points. I think Matt Ryan has a big game out the gate.
I'm right there with you. I really believe it's the battle of the worst team in each division, but Atlanta is way beyond comparison when you start looking at the matchups against the Eagles. They have a better wide receiver, a better tight end, a better quarterback. They have a better overall offensive line. What are you going to do on defense? Philly has nothing. So I feel like this line is, the spread is low because they hope Jalen Hurts can run miracle plays. But I'm with you. I'll take Atlanta all day to cover. Yeah,
that's one of the I would say worst games of the weekend of the slate, considering what's out there. But we'll see. All right, next game here. Next game. I'm actually intrigued by it though. I want to see Kyle Pitts how he does. Anyway, next game here, the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Buffalo to face the Bills. The Bills are actually 6.5 point favorites. Over under is 48 points. When is the last time you see the Bills? I mean, I know how often these teams play, but the Bills by almost a touchdown favorite over the Steelers. I mean, clearly this is 2021.
I think a lot of it has to do with it's a completely rebuilt offensive line for the Steelers. You got 2 rookies there, a couple of washouts from other teams. They had to reload their offensive line. They lost probably their 3rd best defensive player in free agency. I really don't believe Pittsburgh even competes for a playoff spot. So I can understand why it's a 6.5 point spread right now. And it might be even a little higher come game time. I know I'm betting the Bills.
No, I'm not surprised it's kind of high. It's just weird to see it because, given the history of these two teams, especially in the last 10 years. But, Buffalo's obviously a team that was a game away from the Super Bowl last year. Pittsburgh was a playoff team, but they faded late. The over-unders reflect that, too. All the Steelers are going to be, 8.5 wins, I think we debated. And, we expect a bit of a drawback this year, especially the fact they played in a tough division, too, on top of that. I don't know if this game is something we'll see. I still think, even though Pittsburgh is probably a little bit worse than they were last year, I do think this is kind of a statement game for Buffalo out the gate. I think if Buffalo wants to be taken seriously still moving forward, you beat a team like Pittsburgh who still has some legs left. Well, at least we think they have some legs left. You win, and you win convincingly. It's like, okay, Buffalo's still meaning business here.
Yeah, and for me, if Pittsburgh wins a game again, it's because of their defense.
Yeah.
Their offense is no longer even respectable.
Right. So I have the over in this game in the meantime. I took the over in this game.
Ooh.
48 points.
Expecting a blowout by the Bills?
I don't know. I just don't know.
No defense.
I just don't know if it's less about Buffalo for me and more about what's going on with Pittsburgh. How good are they? That 8.5 number was so weird, but a lot of factors come to play. The AFC's better this year. The division's better this year, and maybe it's not so much them, more so the environment. But you can't tell me a Mike Tomlin team is not going to be competitive. They'll still be competitive.
No, but last year, 2 years ago, they could win with backups, but it was because they had a top 5 offensive line. You have almost a cripple and Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
Sitting behind a
Right. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. It's an interesting situation here in Buffalo this weekend. All right. Next game here, we have the Minnesota Vikings actually heading to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. The Vikings are 3-point favorites. The over/under is 47 points. Gotta be honest with you, this is a trap game for the Vikings. And not because the Bengals are so good. This is week 1. Everybody's showing out week 1, obviously. Win or lose.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm thinking Cincinnati here straight up to win.
Damn.
Straight up. Shout out boy Chris.
See, when I saw this line, I just was so confused. I'm like, I have not seen anything good come out of Cincinnati during the preseason.
Right.
Burrow's still scared. You got your first-round pick in Jamar Chase cannot catch an NFL football, and that's his own words. So you wasted your top pick on a receiver, and if that doesn't pan out, that's going to be a huge setback. And if he has 2 drops early in the first game, you might as well write that pick off because he's going to be a head case for the rest of the season. For me, I'm wondering why would Vegas make it only 3? Are they afraid that out of the blue someone's going to have COVID that's important for Minnesota and miss the game? Is that why it's being suppressed? It should be, I think, 4.5, 5 at least.
I mean, not only that, this is not even a Kirk Cousins primetime game either. So you can't even factor that in either because that's not the case.
No.
This is a regular 1:00 game on Red Zone.
Yeah. They're not even showing that game in Cincinnati. All right.
So you taking Minnesota still to cover 3?
Absolutely.
Okay. I respect that. All right, next game here we have the San Francisco 49ers heading to Detroit to face the Lions. The Niners are 9-point favorites, over under 45 points. Obviously, Detroit, we believe, are going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. And I think San Francisco is going to come out guns blazing. I mean, obviously, last year they had a rough year, but they're competitive. I do think the Niners, at least for 1 week right now, will come out the gate and show that they're back. So, give me the Niners to cover 9 points. Detroit's is bad. They're just really bad.
I'm right there with you. I think the 49ers cover the spread. And if there's one quarterback that has to feel like this is for his life, it's got to be Jared Goff. If he doesn't look good in week 1, that city will turn on him and be rooting to get the number 1 pick in the draft.
Of course. Yeah.
Terrible, but yeah, that's money on San Fran.
I also think Garoppolo also has a opportunity here to really change the narrative a little bit about him. I mean, obviously, Trey Lance was drafted high, but Garoppolo is the guy this year, at least for the time being. So Garoppolo has a chance to really keep Lance at bay for at least a year or so, and it starts here. If he struggles in this game, then that's when the Trey Lance thing starts. It starts to ratchet up a little bit, but yeah, San Francisco's just too good. They're too good. Although you had the Niners actually having a bad year this year on our podcast earlier a couple weeks ago.
Well, I do, but it's not because of this game.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a bigger fan of Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm in love with the Rams.
Mm-hmm. I am too.
So, and I've also noticed that every year they lose a major defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
So how much longer can San Fran's defense be the thing that keeps them in the games and lets them win? I get it. Garoppolo has a really good winning record, but he also seems to manage to have at least 1 turnover a game. And eventually that's going to sink a team when their defense keeps losing players.
Yeah. All right, next game here we have what I believe is the most underrated game of the weekend. As the Arizona Cardinals heading to Tennessee to face the Titans. The Tennessee Titans are only a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 52.5. Pretty much a pick 'em, right?
Yeah. A home favorite at less than 3. Yeah. It's a pick 'em.
This is a gut check game this is like a big game for the Cardinals here. This is another perception game. Okay, because I remember I had all 4 teams in the NFC West going to playoffs this year. Cardinals are one of those teams that couldn't be on the up on the ascent. Well, this is a game. This is a game to prove yourselves here.
They've got a coach that'll always prevent that from happening.
That being said, I have Tennessee winning the game too and covering 3 points. Because I think Tennessee's a better team.
Yep. This was the one game that I was a little iffy about because I think there's going to be so much offense. This would be the game if you're a fantasy football fan, this is a game you watch with the receivers, the running backs. Hell, even the quarterbacks put up such great fantasy numbers. It will be so exciting. I feel like you had to bet the over in this game, even at 52. Going to be so many points. In my heart, Tennessee doesn't have a defensive pass rush. Arizona, even if they're playing great, it's going to be a shootout because they're up and down the field so quick.
Yeah. So you taking the over?
Yes.
Ooh.
Taking the over.
Over 52 or 52.5? Which one are you taking?
Over 52.5.
Right. Okay. All right. Next game here. 1 second. On my screen. Oh, here you go. You have the Seattle Seahawks heading to Indy. The Indianapolis Colts faced, to Indy, face the Colts. The Seahawks actually are 3-point favorites. Over-under is 48.5. We got word, of course, that Carson Wentz will be playing Week 1. Another really solid game. Two teams that are playoff contenders in their respective conferences. Over under 48.5. I'm taking the over in this game. This is one of those games you just can't pick. You know, these are teams who are not familiar with each other. They don't play each other once every 4 years. So I mean, whatever. Wentz is playing. I mean, I guess the question is how good will Wentz look on Sunday. But I'll take the over in this game. That's a safe bet. Take the over.
This is going to be one of those games that matters whether or not you win or I win this week.
I think so too.
Because I like the under in the game.
Okay.
I just cannot envision Carson Wentz coming out of the gate and scoring a lot of points with that team.
Mm-hmm.
I get they're going to rely a ton on the run. They've got a nice backfield with Mac and the kid from Wisconsin, Taylor, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Seattle can shut them down when it comes to passing. I would expect Jamal Adams to be a beast this year now that he finally got paid.
Yeah.
And with Russell Wilson, it's going to be exciting, but can he really get in the end zone? Or will Indianapolis defense be able to keep them outside the 20 and just make them kick field goals? So that's why I was leaning more towards a under 48.
All right. Next game here we have the L.A. Chargers. This is your game. The L.A. Chargers heading to Washington to face the football team. It's a pick'em actually, according to Bovada here. Some lines have it at 1 point. Redskins by 1 point.
Yeah.
Pretty much a pick'em.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Again, you know the rule: East
Not
West.
for Washington this week.
I'll be honest with you. I'm big on the Chargers going forward this year. I don't have them going to playoffs, but I think they're a contender to probably get in. But we'll see what happens. The AFC stacked this year. I just think you going west to east. I mean, I don't care if it's the first game of the year. It's always tough to do that. So I'm taking Washington here to win straight up and cover a whole 9.
I think I explained to you how their division record would set up, how a NFC South matchup will set up for the rest of the season. You know, we're going to go like 7-1 and 3-1 in those. Well, here's also one of our losses on the season. It's going to start right out of the gate because Justin Herbert, he's got a defense that is fully healthy for at least one game this season. And Darwin James and Bosa, they're going to make a massive impact for one game against my team.
So you got Chargers straight up to win.
Oh, yes. I think the Chargers win, and I could see it by a touchdown in the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next game here we have, this is probably the worst game of the weekend, most likely. The New York Jets heading to Carolina to face the Panthers. Of course, this is the Sam Darnold Bowl. Sam Darnold's old team versus new team, obviously. The Panthers right now are 4-point favorites. The over-under is 44 points. To me, this is easy, honestly. Carolina's getting a lot of love, actually. You know, not a playoff team, but they're definitely a team that can be frisky. I'm going to take Carolina to win this game straight up and cover at 4 points.
Oh, I'm with you. I'll take Carolina to cover the spread. And if I were to be gutsy, I'd go on over, too. I think it matches up perfectly where neither team really has defense, but if one does, it's going to be Carolina. The Jets have just been decimated by injuries. It's almost like looking at another Baltimore team. So when you barely had anything and your most important defensive piece is lost for the season before it starts, it's not going to be good. So, yeah, I'll take Carolina to cover.
Okay. Worst game of your weekend. No, actually, no, the second worst game of the weekend, probably. The worst game of the weekend is this one here. The Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Houston to face the Texans. The Jaguars right now are 3-point favorites. Over-under is 45.5. The only reason why this game's intriguing is because you see Trevor Lawrence, how he looks. That's all. That's it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going to get enamored and be like, oh, my God, he won his first game. Look at all the numbers he put up. And anyone who really watches football is going to say, yeah, can you name one player on the Houston defense?
Yeah, even though...
And really, can you even name anyone on Houston besides the quarterback right now?
Especially the fact that you're playing the team that might go 0-17 this year.
Yeah. If Jacksonville's going to win more than a couple games, this is one of those games they were going to have to win.
Yeah.
So...
Give me a Jags, cover 3 points.
Hallelujah for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, 3 points, Jags cover. You too? Same thing?
Yeah, they cover.
All right, next game here. This is the game of the weekend, obviously. The Cleveland Browns going to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. The Chiefs are right now 5.5-point favorites. The over-under is 54.5. This is your possible AFC title game preview. This is actually the AFC title game I have predicted this year. The Browns, I mean, people forget the last year the Browns were in that Chiefs game in the division round of the playoffs. They had the Chiefs on the ropes a little bit. And the Browns have gotten better. They have probably the best roster in all of football. The biggest question mark is, of course, the quarterback. How good is Baker Mayfield? We'll see. This is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a lot more highly contested. I'm taking the under in this game, actually.
Whoa!
Gutsy, right?
An under first week of the season.
I know.
Over and a half.
I know, but this is a perception game too for the Browns. I feel like it's going to be a tight knit game.
Yeah. Here's my prediction. Watch the one-on-one matchup of Myles Garrett and Orlando Brown.
Okay.
As long as Orlando Brown can hold on at left tackle, it's just going to be a high-scoring game. And so, guess what? I'm going to take the complete opposite of you. Give me 55, 56, 57 total points. It's going over.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a huge game. This is the game that can, we look at the AFC the next couple weeks. Okay, well, this is what happened, this and that. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, most for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I think even if Casey loses this game, we still think Casey's going to be hanging around no matter what. So. But
I'd look at it this way. Kansas City did some talking during the offseason about having a perfect season. So I'm quite sure they want to show up for this first game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next game here, a game we spoke about off air that's very intriguing. The Miami Dolphins heading to New England to face the Patriots. The Patriots right now are 3-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. Pretty much a pick 'em. Again, this is a huge game for both teams. Mac Jones is the starting quarterback, but Cam Newton. Last time we spoke on this podcast, Cam Newton was the quarterback of the Patriots. He's not anymore. This is a huge game especially with Miami, I think, too, because Miami is a team that's trying to prove that they belong. This is gonna be a grimy game. I have the under in this game. This is gonna be like a 17-14 game, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you. If there's any game that would be an under this weekend, I would say it's the Pats game.
Yeah.
They're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to try and control the clock.
Yeah. I think
both
teams actually.
Summer heat. Guess what? It's going to be low scoring. Those guys are going to be exhausted by the end of that game. But like you said, it's going to be a 17-14 game, and it'll be the Patriots probably.
It's possible. I think both teams are going to have the same game plan, just run the ball, because you want to protect Mac Jones too. So
I don't know about that. One, I don't believe Miami even has a real running game. And two, I think they after you have Parker, who was supposed to be a number one receiver, and he just drafted the Alabama kid.
Yeah.
Waddle, right?
Yeah, Waddle.
So you have two guys that are supposed to be number ones at wide receiver, and you have to make a decision this year on Tua. They're going to want to throw. And I think that's another reason why you look at Patriots' game plan this weekend. It's going to be to run the ball and control the clock.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore's sitting out, so you're going to pick on the backup corner.
Right. Yeah, under definitely under though. I'm with you on that one. All right, next game here. Another intriguing game here. The Green Bay Packers heading to New Orleans to face the Saints. Although this game will be played in Jacksonville due to the hurricane. Hit Louisiana last week. Thoughts prayers to people out there, especially. The Packers are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under in this game is 49.5. I am really intrigued by this game, mainly because I am intrigued by. You and I both Florida State Seminoles fans. I think Jameis Winston is the most intriguing person entering the season right now. I really believe that, and I think what he does to me, it's to me at this point it's either make it happen now or get off the pot. Because if you can't make it work with Sean Payton, then you obviously can't be a strong quarterback in this league.
Hey, real quick, who's he going to be throwing to on week 1 that you're going to be scared of?
I don't know. No Michael Thomas, obviously.
Yeah, and Green Bay already boasts one of the top 3 or 4 corners in the league with Jair Alexander. So they're going to be able to shut down whoever they want. This is a bad matchup for Jameis week 1. And that's not even counting the fact that we dealt with the Aaron Rodgers situation all summer when he wanted to make a point. You think he isn't 100% focused coming out of this game hot? Oh, he's going to light up New Orleans, in my opinion. I think Green Bay covers, and it's going to be ugly.
Well, I have the over in this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
I think it's a safe bet.
Well, you're right on that because Jameis, he's still going to throw 2 interceptions, but he'll probably throw 2 or 3 touchdowns. So
right.
It could be a 30-20 game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like the over, of course. And you have the Packers winning outright.
I have Green Bay covering, yeah.
Okay. Next game here, my game, the Denver Broncos heading to New York to face the Giants. The Broncos are 3-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 41.5. Again, the Broncos are the team that I don't know who they are, how good they are. A lot of folks are high on the Broncos. We discussed on the over on the podcast a couple weeks ago. I'm going to go straight home here, dude. I'm going to take the Giants.
I feel like a homer, man. I told you I like your Giants. I told you they had a chance this season to actually win the division.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I lied to you, but no, I like Green Bay, I like the Giants this weekend. Everyone's supposed to be healthy and starting week 1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Barkley's going to play. Yep. Galladay's going to play.
Yeah. I just don't know. Well, the problem is I don't know how good Denver is. Like I know what they're projected to be based on Vegas, but I don't know if that's a real thing or not. I mean, I love Teddy Bridgewater. But
how many games have you ever seen Teddy Bridgewater light it up on the scoreboard?
Not much. He's a serviceable quarterback at this point. Hey, look, he's a 500 quarterback. He could get you to 8-8, but that's no good. You either want to be bad or you want to be great. Right. I'm going Homer. I'm going to Giants here. I have no rationality. I'm doing this. I'm just going to Giants because it's week 1. Let's just go with it. Let's stick in the wall.
I'm doing it. I feel like you're copying off my sheet, but hey, go straight Homer.
All right, 2 more games here. We have the Chicago Bears heading to L.A. to face the Rams. The Rams are 9-point favorites. The over/under is 46.5. You and I both are big on the Rams. I think the Rams will be competing for a Super Bowl. I said on the podcast that we did a couple weeks ago that Matthew Stafford is a MVP, candidate possibly this year, on the radar. I'm big on the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
My only issue with the Rams going forward, and I think even Chris alluded to this on the podcast, is that depth issues. Like all things equal, if they're healthy, they could be in the Super Bowl this year. They could be the Bucs if they're healthy, of course. But this is football.
Oh, I agree.
So
I totally agree.
Yeah, but that means for this week anyway. The Rams win this game. They win going away. The Bears are the Bears going to be bad for the next couple weeks, and until they bring in Justin Fields, they're going to be pretty bad. So I'm taking the Rams a couple of weeks.
They're going to be pretty bad even right after they bring in Justin Fields. It's a really rough schedule early on for the Bears.
Yeah.
And the one thing you have to remember, depth doesn't matter week 1 when everyone's healthy. And, the Rams are missing Cam Akers, but Cam Akers was overrated for the Rams. They have a great offensive line, or at least one that can pass protect. And now you have Stafford with weapons. My only thing, it's a little high at 9.5. So I'm going to be chicken, and I'm actually going to take the under because I don't think the Bears score more than 10 points.
Okay.
And that's the max I think they could get.
So you're saying like 27-10 game, 3-10, something like that nature?
It could be that, but it could also be it could be a 20-10.
Oh.
And yeah, that just barely gives you the coverage, but I feel safer taking an under.
Safer bet, right? That makes sense. That makes total sense. Yeah. Mine's on the Rams. I think Rams have been going away. So, all right, and finally the Monday night game. Hey, there's only one game this year on Monday night. They do away to 2 games now.
I think they probably did it just because of the 17-week schedule.
Okay, makes sense. The Baltimore Ravens heading to Vegas to face the Raiders. Now this line I'm not sure was set before after the injuries. Because they're decimated. We saw today Gus Edwards out for the year, Marcus Peters out for the year. They already lost the other running back.
I think didn't they lose Peters too?
Yeah, Peters. Yeah. Out for the year, ACL. Wow. Anyway,
they traded one. They traded a corner who had an outstanding preseason to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's such a sad scene in Baltimore right now.
Yeah. By the way, the Cowboys might need new kicker already because this guy's already missed a PAT and a field goal already. It's their line.
Yeah. But there's really no kicker with a big name. And Jerry Jones likes big names.
That's true.
There's a better chance he trades for Odell Beckham to use as kicker than
Lord.
He brings in a new kicker.
Anyway, Ravens are 4-point favorites right now as of this recording, and the over/under is 50.5. I'm taking the over in this game. Honestly, with his injuries too, especially, I would probably take him to Vegas to win this game outright, but I'll take the over to be safe.
Yeah, and before I heard the news today, I would have taken Baltimore cover. Now, I'm actually going to take Las Vegas.
Yeah.
When your only running back is now your wide receiver or now your quarterback, and one of your top wide receivers coming into the season is out, you made it so easy for a team that doesn't know how to draft defensive players to still be able to call a defensive game plan. So, what's Baltimore going to do?
And it's going to suck because, like you said earlier in the text, that Lamar Jackson is going to get all the blame for this.
Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, see, he's not a pocket passer. Well, it's hard to be a pocket passer when you know you have zero run game. When all you have to do is key in on the passer and fill your gaps.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do. They're going to try and collapse the pocket, and rush someone from the side every time. And see whether or not Lamar can read the defense quick enough to get out a pass. So, I feel bad for the kid.
Yeah, me too. It's funny too because, in my predictions for the year, I had Baltimore as a wild card team. These injuries though are big enough to where I have to change that. Like I had Miami as a possible team to replace them in the wild card, maybe the Chargers. But these injuries are big.
I would slide the Chargers in right now. If you had the Chargers on the outside, I would slide them in place of Baltimore.
You already have them in there already though, so that would.
Yeah, I did. But right now, I'd slide Baltimore out of the playoffs and put in New England for a guarantee now. Yeah. I know I think they're going to win the division, but the Bills are great. So if New England couldn't win the division, I certainly slide them in as a wild card.
Yeah. This is big. But I tell you what, if they make the playoffs and still win a lot of games, even despite these injuries, man, maybe the Lamar MVP train.
Again, that would be crazy. He wins the MVP again, and people still don't think he can play quarterback.
It's bullshit. It really is. So those are your picks of the week, guys, for week one. We'll obviously get back to you next week on week two when we will review, obviously, week one and week two. Obviously, we'll go through week two and all that. as you do also too, when we do this podcast every week, we're both big Florida State Seminoles fans. So let's do a couple minutes of Florida State football real quick. Is that another Brady pick? No, he dropped. Oh, yeah, that's two picks for Brady.
Yeah, it's looking like it.
I told you +9. Look out for it. Florida State Seminoles. Now,
never change your jersey number.
No, I was watching this game at the same time while I was watching a wrestling pay-per-view. So I was not heavily invested in the game necessarily because I had my eyes elsewhere too.
Yeah.
I'm proud that these guys fought, man. I mean, I thought. I mean, I did tell you it was strange though that when the line opened up at Notre Dame -11, and then 2 days before kickoff, I see Notre Dame 7 points. What the fuck was that all about? I didn't understand that. But I look, Florida State lost. Not surprised. Notre Dame's top 10 team. We're not going to try to.
No, they are not. Notre Dame. Is not a top 10
by ranking, of course. I'm not saying they actually are as good as the ranking.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they're ranked top 10. But Florida State going forward, I mean, their schedule is pretty light next couple weeks before you get to Clemson. And how good is Clemson? We don't know. So, I mean, do you feel a little more encouraged with the season this year?
Off of that game, seeing that offense, that I have not witnessed offensive play against a premier team like that since probably Jameis's last season.
Wow, that's 7 years now.
Yeah, but I mean, we had Francois, and then we had a transfer. So, and now we got another transfer. So to see something like this, I was amazed to see us put up that many points.
Yeah. Now, granted, we were down big in the fourth quarter, and Mikaze Milton, what a story, comes in the game and nearly pulls it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're literally like a couple mistakes away from winning that game outright.
Yeah, it was literally. Why are you calling a timeout Why is your own team coach calling a timeout on a kick like that? Oh my God, that makes no sense to me, and just outright pissed me off. As soon as they did that, I think every Florida State fan and anybody who is a fan of a Florida State opponent knew the kicker was going to miss the next kick. And if that wouldn't have happened, could you imagine the pressure on the Notre Dame kid to make his kick?
Especially on the road.
Yeah.
Touchdown favorite too, especially. I mean, a lot of pressure, man. Nah.
I got one other little anecdote about this. My little cousin, she's a freshman at Florida State.
Uh-huh.
She got that was her first game she got to go to as a Florida State college kid.
Oh, wow.
And you got to watch that game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, I mean, like I said, I wish I won the game, but I'm not going to be mad about it. I just want to know if this could be okay. Well, maybe we're back to being a bowl team at least. Going forward. I mean,
we're certainly a bowl team. After seeing that, I totally believe we're a bowl team, and I think whatever the situation was last year with Novell and the players, I think that's been smoothed over.
Last year, I don't think it ever existed. Like and I told you this too. Like I was tuned out of college football last year for the first time in my life. Most because of COVID, obviously, and because of the fact that you had Big Ten coming in November and this shit, and I was like, fuck this, I don't want to watch this shit, man. This is ridiculous, And Florida State was sorry out of the gate. I'm like, why am I going to watch this shit this year? So I forgot about last year, honestly. This is actually Norville's second year, right?
Yeah, there was so much controversy last year between players being sick, players being injured. You had the race relations following the George Floyd thing that went really bad. So it was a total shit show. And somehow or another, it seems like the coach has figured out a way to smooth it over with his players.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm a little more encouraged this year. I think, like I said, the softening the schedule next couple weeks should help before Clemson in October. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, obviously, if they can win like 7 games, 8 games this year, I'd be happy.
Oh, yeah.
And the ACC is pretty weak, too.
Eight games should be a minimum this year because we're also allowed to play basically 3 powder puffs. So
yeah. And the ACC is actually kind of weak this year, too. I mean, we'll see how Clemson, if they recover. I mean, they're playing Georgia, so not like it's a soft team, but ACC is weak. I mean, it's a trash conference, let's be real.
I honestly believe Clemson needs at least 2 losses by any other premier team to have any shot at making the playoffs. Losing that game cost them any shot at the playoffs, in my opinion.
You think so?
The ACC is straight garbage. When your only tough opponent this year and your Clemson is Florida State, that's all they have left. Because South Carolina has been a joke this season. And last season, and the season before, and the season before, and the season before. South Carolina is like the whipping boy of the SEC. So to call that a significant matchup anymore isn't right.
You just see Brady to Brown? 57 yards? Yeah, sick. Antonio Brown's back. Antonio Brown's back.
I say go for 2.
Yeah, some shit.
Just to get in their head.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So anyway, that's enough for this week. So we'll go back in a couple days and look at our picks and stuff, Zach. And yeah, that was fun.
Yes, it was. Good meds for a football season.
Yes, sir. I'm happy football's back. I'm so excited about it. Can't wait for Sunday to come around.